Hey kids, it's your good buddy Mark Miller, here to save the day. Is that right, Fred? Fred! Thought you had my back. All right, fine. Roy's with us.
I am.
How you doing, buddy?
I am here. How you doing, Mark? You just finished a fairly decent length trip, haven't you?
Yeah, it's going for about 11 days. No, wait, 8 days. 8 days.
Mm.
Yeah,
Was it nice and good weather and whatnot in Spain there?
Yeah, in Valencia, Spain, looking at places to live. We found a school we want to put the kids in over there. So we're doing that. I was checking out the bike paths to the school. We're going to try and do it without a car.
Cool.
And yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at. We're looking at taking a hop over to Spain and seeing if we can make it work. How are you doing, Roy? How's your week?
I'm doing very well. Yeah, no, my week's been good. Relaxing. Obviously, no streaming in the evenings for me. But now we're back.
We're back.
Which is good. Yeah.
Ready to kick some butt today. Today, I wrote on the title what we're going to do today. We're going to mod TaleSpire again. Work on Wall of Ice.
Okay.
That's what we're going to work on. A couple things on my mind. Whenever I'm here on the show, I bring up my favorite prototyping app, known as PowerPoint. Wall of Ice.
Okay.
That's what we're going to work on.
So how is Wall of Ice going to, I mean, other than the basic nature of the asset that's used, how is it going to distinguish itself from Wall of Fire?
Yeah. What the heck's going on here? One of the deals on the Wall of Ice is it's got a segment snap to. Oh no!
Ooh.
What's happening in my show? What's that code? That code gives me chills. It's so good. It's coding, Gorilla Kids. We
don't need to code Wall of Gorilla. We have that one pretty much nailed.
Yeah. Segment snap to 10 feet in length. What? Like that. Okay. So that's one of the things. In other words, you can only do 10 foot by 10 foot segments in Wall of Ice.
Okay.
2, I want to, in Wall of Fire, had a 2 foot by 2 foot asset that we aligned with the wall, with the ruler. I want to add support for different asset dimensions.
Yep.
In Wall of Ice, for example, Wall of Ice, I've got 2 assets that I want to work together. I want to send in 2 different commands to demonstrate it. I have one that's about approximately a 2 by 2. So maybe we could say it's 3 foot by 3 foot. Oh my gosh! I haven't had my hands on the keyboard.
You've been away from your keyboard for too long, mate, my friend. There.
Yeah, I got a 3 by 3, and I've got approximately like a 2 by 10. By 10 foot tall, whatever. And what I want to do is I want to line it with both. I just want it to just be a blast of ice coming out of the ground, shooting up into the sky, all of that. That's what I want to do. Coding Gorilla, by the way, thanks for welcoming me back. How are you doing, Coding Gorilla? Is the sound okay? Is the music volume too loud? Let us know. Give us some feedback. So I got 2 assets, so I want to make 2 calls, and I want to pass in an additional dimension, which is going to be essentially the 2 or the 10 is kind of what I want to do. The segment snap, I haven't figured that out yet, how I want to do.
Yeah, that's interesting. When you mention that, I sort of think of that real-world collapsible ruler, sort of where they fold out the segments to make it slightly longer, but it is fixed distance each piece. So you're going to get this jagged line, but every piece is 10 foot in this case.
Yeah, I don't know how to do it. I haven't quite figured out. I've got a couple options. One of the options is to just let you lay out what would be nice is if the ruler itself supported it.
Yeah.
But the ruler does not support it. It does not. and I just can't figure out a way to get their ruler to support it because of their code.
Well, I imagine as you move, I mean, it depends. If we can detect the ruler's movement, could we not create a pseudo target in a location the closest to the ruler, but whilst also being exactly 10 feet from the origin? Then the trouble is you're going to need to do that again with a different reference point with each click.
Right.
I don't know that we can get that feedback, can we?
I think we might be able to, maybe not so much a feedback, but if we were in an update loop, and we were cranking it through, right? We were like evaluating it every time. And so, like, what would happen here? Let's go look at it. Let's go jump over into the TaleSpire.
I guess we should check. Is this a multi-segment thing, or is there a limit? I mean, is it just one segment at a time, or is there a known number of segments?
There are a known max number of segments.
Okay.
So I think wall of ice, hold on. Let's switch back over here. Where's my wall of ice? Do I have anything open? I do. D&D walls. I want to copy that a second. And I want to go bring up my stream deck, and I want to add a shortcut key so I can very quickly open up the walls. There it is right there. I just need to paste that piece in there. So now that button should now work to open that up. Let's test it. Hitting the walls button. Cool. So this is what I did while I was on vacation, because I didn't bring really a computer with me. I just read the rules, grabbed my phone and opened up Google Sheets on my phone and just started filling this out, basically. And so we've got, we were talking about, is it breachable, which means can we destroy it? There's probably another one I need to add. Is it passable? Can you actually walk through the wall? For example, wall of light, I think, is passable. Wall of fire is passable. You can walk right through it. You're going to incur damage, but you can walk through it.
Sure.
So there. I think I'm going to add one more, like a passable, but I'll go ahead and put it in. But I don't know what the values are yet on it for the different walls. I have to go take a look at it. So we'll add that in there, and this is the wall data. I don't have anything reading this yet, but it's the wall data. When the wall appears, I've got this save against. What this means is anybody who's in the space where the wall is has got to save against 5d8 fire damage. And at higher levels than the level 3, they're going to add one more d8 to that for each one for the fire. And it's a saving throw, dexterity saving throw. This is all pseudocode I've added. But basically, I said, here's the wall, the events, and I've added the pseudocode. We'll edit this when we get there. There's one more wall I don't have here, and it's called the prismatic wall, I think. This guy is amazing. Prismatic wall. Is that the right term? There it is. This makes my head spin. This is actually 7 walls in one. It's a red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and indigo, and violet.
Oh, wow.
So what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7 different walls. It's 1 inch thick. And in order to get through the wall, you can try to pass through it. But you have to deal with each wall layer, each of the colors, one at a time. So as you push your hand through, you push it through the red layer, your body takes 10d6 fire damage on a failed save, or half as much on a successful. Okay, cool. I've gotten through the red layer. Now I'm going through the orange layer. 10d6 acid, right? On a failed, or half as much on a successful, right? So each time you're taking huge amounts of damage. 10d6 lightning as you try to pass through the yellow. As you go through, you get 10d6 poison damage on the green one. And each one of these walls can be destroyed in a unique way.
That is
it's
just
evil.
So many levels of bad.
Yeah, this is like a 9th level.
You make it through the wall and your cold, hot, lightning absorbed body basically falls to the ground.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane, including with you have what is it? You have you start to get also non-magical range attacks can't pass through the red layer. Magical range attacks can't pass through the orange layer. Right? And so you can actually destroy these, but you have to destroy them using different techniques for each one. The thing that's amazing is if you encounter this wall for the first time and you didn't know about it, you wouldn't know that, for example, the red one could only be destroyed by cold damage.
I was going to say, how do you experimentally work this out without, dying?
Pudding! I'm not going to be gone forever, pudding. Sorry about that. I left for like a week. on a little mini vacation, going to Valencia, Spain, going to look at places to live. Think we found a place. You just drown in pudding. Drowning in pudding. So yeah, this one is insane. Over here in Indigo, if you fail your save here, you're restrained. Then you have to make a Constitution throw at the end of each of your turns. So a wall has the capability essentially of giving magic out, or whatever you want to call it. The ubiquitous engineer. What brings you to Spain? We want to try something different. My wife is like, let's go to Spain. I'm like, okay. And, the kids already kind of speak Spanish after being here in Costa Rica for a while. Although I will say, your ability to get around using only English in Spain is impaired. It is, it's a demanding country from the standpoint of the language. I'm going to have to absolutely learn Spanish to get around. They're not kidding anymore. They're like, we're serious over here, Mark. And I go, I know. They're like, we're serious. You better learn our language. And so I'm like, all right, fine. So it's beautiful. We're looking at Valencia. It's got 325 sunny days a year. It's a little bit like California, but without the pollution. Sounds like fun. You could have tried Peru. It's way cheaper.
Well, in terms of sheer distance, I guess that's probably true.
I've not considered that, Pudding. But here's the thing: we're only in Spain for we may only be there for like 10 months. We'll see how it works out. And Spain should own those rights. Wait, I don't know why. Wait. The language is way cleaner too. Interesting. Also, we don't use euro. I actually like the look of the euro. I think the euro is cool. So anyway, this spell, Prismatic Wall, is like the wall.
It's
of
a
all
beast,
walls.
isn't it?
It's
really.
So if we can get this thing working, we'll have it'll be a good reflection of what I think is a good architecture.
Yes.
So I want to add support for different asset dimensions here for a wall of ice. That's like the first thing I think I want to do. That'll be today's show, getting it. The other piece is, look, if we've got something that's not, the wall of fire had essentially what I would call like a circular asset. Its orientation did not matter.
Yes. You were individual flames placed along a line, each of which was essentially rotationally symmetrical.
Yeah. With wall of ice, we've got at least one. Basically, we've got a 10-foot by 10 foot by 1 foot segment.
Right, so you've got to get that segment of the right orientation. In fact, in the right orientation and in the right spot, which is, I guess, presumably depends where the anchor is, I suppose.
Yeah, I put the anchor.
But you could argue it's halfway along the segment in some cases.
That's what I did.
At the start.
I put it in the center of the segment at the bottom. Correct orientation and placement. And I with the wall of fire, the orientation, or the placement of those was all at the bottom. In other words, if I said wall of fire, you're at this point on the ground, you're right at zero level on the floor, then it would shoot up from the floor and go up 20 feet. Okay, so wall of ice, and I just created somewhere over here. Here we go. I just created this wall of ice. If we run this, I think you'll see it, how it comes up. That's what it looks like. Okay,
that's good.
So yeah, it's looking like a wall of ice, and it kind of blasts up. And there should be a little bit of, I don't know if we can see it here, but there should be a little bit of steam or smoke coming off of this. I can't see. Oh, there it is. I can see a little bit right up there at the top. See that little bit of ice coming off of the top?
Yep.
Little smoke right there. Yeah, so that's what's coming up the top. That's kind of a random thing. Each time you do it, the rocks will be in a slightly different kind of position like this. So there's one. Let's do another one. Maybe we'll see something a little different. I don't know. Yeah, you probably can't see it, but we'll put them all together. You can see a little bit in the way the rock is, like, see this point and this point. And this point and this point. You can see a little bit of repetition in here.
Yeah.
Hate to interrupt. How did you animate this? This is based on an asset that I've already. Don't worry about interrupting. I've already purchased, and it came with some scripts in it. And if we jump inside here. Here, I'll just do it this one right here. I've got a couple rocks in here, and these rocks have got a script on them called random scale. And if I've got blend and I've got blend speed and I've got scale min and max, it'll go into that space. And because it's blend, I have an actual scale starting off very small. So you can see these are very small here. And this script, if we go look at this script, what it does in its update is it checks to say, hey, if blend is true, then we're going to do a lerp from our current scale to our target scale. Our target scale we set up in start here to be basically between my scale min and scale max times whatever my starting scale is. Okay? So it's going to be somewhere in that space. So that scale min and max is like 9 and 11, between 9 and 11. So I basically said, okay, it's about 10 times bigger than this. So I made the scale 1/10, said I want to go the scale, grow it to about 10 times that size. The blend speed is 0.001, which means here in the lerp, it's going to get just about 1/10 of the way between whatever the local scale is and the scale target. That's what's going to do. And that whole thing gives me the grow. This, I didn't really write this, but I did look at it, and I made one change because this was hard-coded to 0.5, and I just changed it to use blend speed instead, which is what it looked like their intent was to start, and they just didn't finish it. So that's it. I basically started with something else. The piece I started with was, wasn't this, it was this one, Ice Obstacle, MD Ice Obstacle. If we switch over into TaleSpire, I'll show it to you there. Ice Obstacle. Is this going to work or not? It may not work. I may have to recreate it. Yeah, it didn't work there. Let's close that down from here. Let's come back over here. Go into the battle zone and do it again. That's it. So that's kind of what's going on there. Now that just makes it appear, but it was kind of originally based on that. So what I want to do is I want to have a bunch of these across the bottom. Like boom, 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 boom. Bunch of those across the bottom. And then we're going to do the walls as well. So these across the bottom, not a big deal. First thing we'll do is we'll maybe say they're 3x3s instead of 2x2s. And then the next thing we'll do is the wall. Okay.
So that kind of gives a nice kind of emergence point for them from the wall. It sort of disguises the fact that they just sat there, and it's going to really quite add to the style of it, I think.
I think it will. I think it'll look good. And these will actually stick around, and they'll disguise the wall so it doesn't look like it's just 2 repeated or 3 repeated chunks. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Yeah, I think it'll be good. I like the randomness. Yeah, I do too. Yeah. So it'll look good in a whole row. It'll look good. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. And I think we'll just start with that. There's more things I want to do with the wall. Like I want to be able to read in these values that differentiate it. And I want to actually, hold on. I want to see the values. I want to read in these values from the spreadsheet. I want to actually create the events. This is like, I think, this week and next week. I want to be able to, kind of hand off magic, take, the wall might give a condition to someone. The wall might require some, we'll make sure all the events are being triggered. I've got events for when the wall appears, when a creature enters the wall as well, creature exits, when the creature tries to roll the dice to do a ranged attack. Like, for example, if I've got a wall of water, we're going to add disadvantage to any range rolled attacks that go through the wall.
Yes.
Right? So that's what we're going to do there. Let me do an export of this. So we get that exported out. Let's shut down TaleSpire on the second machine. Did that work? Export completed. Let's go in to my assets, bring up my local assets and the TaleSpire machine, and I'm going to just drag that across, and we're going to replace those files there. So that's going to now take that wall. In fact, we should might as well start up TaleSpire and make sure that it's in there. So I'm going to start up TaleSpire on the second machine. Make sure this is all saved. And we can close that down. And we need to start talking about how we're going to change the, it's in the play effect command is where it is. We want to look at that. Play effect function, maybe? I think that's it. Yeah. So see this parameter 8 is the wall length. I want to come in and add another parameter. I want to add a parameter 9, which is going to be distance between the segments.
Yes.
And I'm thinking about what you said, Rory. earlier.
Which bit was that?
Yeah, which particular bit of genius was that, Mark Miller?
Well, I wouldn't claim it's all genius, that's for sure.
Okay, hold on a second. I'm just on the TaleSpire machine. It needs to start it up. I'm going to start it up.
This was presumably the piece where the segment has a fixed length, and it's kind of like we have to join multi-segments potentially.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was getting at. At first I was thinking, I don't think we can go in and mess with their game, and and change the way the ruler works. But I'm kind of thinking about it. I think we can. The question is, can we change the handle position? And will it update the UI if we change the handle position manually? That's kind of the question we need to ask. Does that make sense?
I mean, we don't necessarily have to use the ruler at all. If you think about it, we could just use the flashlight again. So you pick a point of origin, and then you show on screen sort of a relative plane, or not a plane, a border that is exactly, let's say, 10 meters from that. So a circle that surrounds the initial point. And you know that you can only put the second segment somewhere on that line.
Yeah.
And so
I got you.
You can let the flashlight go anywhere you like, but the rendering of where we're going to put the second point stays on the closest point of that circle. So we don't necessarily need the ruler.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Let's go see. I thought it was NBD ice wall 10 by 10. That guy right there. Okay, that looks way bigger than 10 by 10.
That is a bit big.
How did that get so big? That should have been totally... What? Okay,
10
gorgeous.
meters is what? 3 cubes tall? So it'd be the expectation?
So this is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. It's about 60 feet across.
Isn't that the limitation on size that you had for one of the other walls?
Yeah, that's not. Let's not go there. It's not.
Okay.
That's not gonna get you. It's just. There's no meaning there. Looks like a scene from Game of Thrones. Yeah. It does. It is cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
It does look good. But the size is ridiculous. It's 1/6. It's 6 times bigger than it should be. Let's go into the effects editor. Let's copy that to the clipboard. Let's go in. Let's delete this. Let's go in and add it. All right. And yeah, still ridiculously 6 times too big. What's its scale? It's 1:1:1. Yeah, okay. If I goes, let's just take this down to here, 0.5. Got 2 commas in there. Yeah. Uh-oh. It's that trickster. It's a trickster. Jetsam. Jeez. Behind this cloud. The cloud went away.
He's in the house.
Yeah, welcome back. Real Pygon says, just need a few more in an elevator. Yeah, okay. Fair. All right, so that's half. Yeah, the scale is giant. I thought I had this. I thought I nailed the scale, to be honest, on the other machine, but clearly I did not. All right, let's continue to play with this till we get it the right size, the correct scale. We're going to go down to what? 0. So we need to go. We need to basically 1 divided by 6 is what we need to do, right? 1 divided by 6.
Yeah, because certainly the length along the ground was 6 times larger than we needed.
0.1667. What do we got there? Wow. Okay, what's cool is the smoke is kind of right where it should be.
Yep.
That's all looking like exactly where I want it to be. What happens if I turn it off with that scale and turn it back on? Yeah, the other pieces are too big as well. That is like too big. All of that's way too big. Really? How did I mess this up, Rory? All right, so let's go see if we can fix it real quickly. Ice wall is right here. So my rock is there.
You have not switched screens.
That's why you're here, Rory, making the big bucks. So I guess what I got to do, at the very least, I can start like this. I can add a divide by 6 on these guys right here. Like that. 1, 2, 3, like that. Same thing here. Divide by 6, divide by 6, divide by 6. Okay. Here, do the same. Divide by 6, divide by 6, divide by 6.
I love the way it allows you to do that in the data entry field itself. It's not something you instinctively think of, but as somebody who wants to use the program, it's great that you don't have to go somewhere else to make that calculation.
Yeah. See, the thing that is blowing my mind is, see this here, 1 by 1 by 1? Inside of here, I've got a 10 by 10 wall, which I've got turned off right here, but that's a 10 by 10 wall. I had this thing work and fit so it exactly grew to that size when I was doing this. Now with this, it's probably going to look much smaller if I drop a fresh one of these on here and say go ahead and run. Yeah, it's like inside that. If I were to come in and say let's turn off that 10 by 10 wall, yeah, there it is right there. So do I what do I do? Do I just make the overall one? I really wanted it to be a 10 by 10 and feel like a 10 by 10, but it's not.
Yeah, see, it feels like if we account for the size change in the code, then we're kind of working around a bug, which if we then discover at some point the meaning behind and how to fix, then we've got to go and sort of undo all that work. Maybe. I mean, it...
All right, let's do this. Let's undo what I did. So we're going to come in here. We're going to undo a bunch of stuff here. Are we able to undo into this space as well? I'm hitting undo. I'm not seeing anything happen. All right, well, I can do it this way. Get back the other way. Put a ×6 on each one of these. And then what I want to do, what I'm thinking I'm going to do, Rory, is I'm just going to parent everything in here to something that scales everything down by 1/6. I think is what I'm going to do.
That's certainly less alterations.
Yeah. Let's do that. So we're going to say divide by 6 there.
All I can think of is there any way it's already parented by something that's not visible but is causing it to go up in size? So it's the right scale within the context of its parent, but the parent is 6 times bigger than it needs to be, but obviously would still be, normally it would be quite visible. You'd have to have it actively hidden somehow.
Yeah, I don't think so, is what is the answer to that, I think, to that question. If I come in here and I go to local scale, I mean, there's the local scale right there,
Yeah.
But those other pieces are just huge, and they're big, kind of. I can't quite tell if they're big all over or not, but I kind of need to break those down as well. All right, you know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to do that either. Hold on, I'm undoing. I'm here, back to here, and
We're not looking at that screen.
Oh, thanks again, Rory. Okay, so I'm back over here.
Okay, we've got our wall, 10 by 10 by 1.
So I don't think I've changed anything. At this point, I think it's the same as what we had before. If I run it, we should see a wall that looks kind of like we saw before. There we go. All right, good. Okay, so I've got that. Okay, exit play mode to save the scene. All right, so now what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to go back over here, and I'm going to make this thing an actual 10 by 10 wall. I'm going to make it so it works and feels right here. So when I turn this on and turn this off, it looks good. So kind of the first thing I think I need to do is, I think it's these right here. These things are looking giant. See those right there?
Yeah.
Giant. So what I need to do is go in there, go into the particle system, and find the particle size. start size is 6. What if I simply just change that to a 1 and looked at only that one? That's better. Okay, so do that, and I'm going to do the same with this one. Start size. Change it to a 1. One of the things I want, this is a great time to demonstrate what I want. I want, if I'm on size here and I click on this one, for it to have this, if it's got the same one, to
same relative path, yeah. Very useful.
Yeah, and I don't have it. It's painful.
Did you know the property page facility, you know when you right-click a project in Studio and you say properties? I don't know if this works in C#, but in C++, if you change projects, you go back to the Solution Explorer without closing that window, it will switch the focus to the other project at the same place that you already were.
Good. All right, so now...
Very useful facility.
Let's try it. Wait, it's the small... Wait, is one of the rocks too big? One is too big. I missed one. Let's see which one I missed. Oh, it's this one right here. The one at the top. Start size. 1. All right, now let's look at it. Okay, good. Now, the next piece. The ice flak up, same thing. Start size. Change it. Oh, change it to 0.5. Okay, so it's 1/6 of it. Ice flak up. Start size. Make it half. What I'm going to do after I do this is I'm going to save this out, just like we've been saving out other things, and we'll use this instead and see if that works.
Okay.
See if all of these changes. So ice flak up, all of those. I think I got just those 3.
It's looking all right.
Yeah. What's interesting is I'm not getting the animation for the rocks.
Oh, the ones that were exploding from the ground?
For these should grow. But they're
sorry, I see
growing.
what you mean. So the main wall itself is not growing, it's just arriving pre-built.
Yeah, it's just like snapping in. I don't understand that. It's got fade ground lifetime position. The rock doesn't have random scale. Rock 2 has random scale. Oh, there it is, random scale. Blend is true. Scale min and max are in there. Blend speed is 0.01. I don't even get this. Why would that be the case? What if I turn it to that? No, it's just snapping it right in. Switch back over here. Let's go figure out why that's the case. It's not in here right now. Random scale, edit script. How would this not work? Is it this? Because it's multiplying by its local scale. No, that doesn't quite work. All right, I'm not going to stress about this too much. I'm going to worry about this later. So we're here. That's kind of what we've got. I'm going to save this now. Let's double check it one more time. I think these are too much. These ice flaks that are shooting up.
Yeah.
I think they're just still too big. Start size. I want to cut them down even more. And start speed. I want to cut that down as well. Let's try just that one with those 2 changes. Okay, and I think I want to change the playback speed, slow it down. Yeah, that's better.
Okay.
So see the difference? That was the original.
Yeah.
Okay. So back down over here. Playback speed. We said 0.7. Particle size. We dropped that down to 0.25, I think. We cut it in half. And the start speed, we went to 7, I think. Is that what we did? Let's look at that one. Perfect. Do the same over here. Playback speed, 0.7. Start size, 0.25. And start speed, 7. I think that's what we had. And that's the FLAC. So now let's look at it. All right, it's not bad. So there's an off, and there's an on. Okay, so now I'm going to call this ice wall 10 by 10. Like that, and I'm going to say save effect. Okay, now with that saved, let's close this down and see how well that works. Bring up the effect editor, say known effect. We're going to grab ice wall 10 by 10 and go. And we actually get it to grow this time.
That's the growing happening, yeah.
Did I only get 2?
So what was the difference there?
I got 3.
You have got 3, yeah.
But the third one, holy cow, it's much smaller than the others. How did that get so small? Oh wait, it's still growing.
It is.
I wonder if its growth rate is much smaller. I wonder if it's maybe that. I don't think we changed that property. All right, interesting. And then when I shut it down and then reappear, oh, I know what's happening. When I do this and turn it on and off, the reason it wasn't growing here is because it's already been scaled. Its start method, it already has the current local, the new grown
right.
Local
So
scale.
we're not making a new one. We're sort of making this one visible again. And since the growth was intended to happen in start rather than a kind of reinitialize, that's why you only get it the first time.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So there's our 10 by 10 wall. So what I want to do next is I think I want to go into. I think what I need to do is go to here. Nobody has wall of ice yet, I think. So I have to actually give somebody the effect. Let's go do that. Players. We'll give it to my character. Wall of ice. Okay, reload everything. Did you fix the third one's growth speed? I did not. I did not. I was like a little bit like I was feeling that was going to be a rabbit hole I didn't want to jump into just yet. I'm going to let it be uncertain because I think that's going to, you know, we're kind of not programming in this space, but I can kind of start to look at it. It's in one of a couple places. Let's go grab all of this text here and copy that to the clipboard. I'm going to open it up in Notepad. And what was it? I think it was called blend speed or something like that. There's one blend speed.
Well, that's small, so that would make that.
Is that it? Yeah. So we're changing blend speed. There's only this one. Yeah, I think that's the problem. Is that the others are defaulting this. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take it out completely. Because I just want to go with the original. Since that's only there in this one space, let's go look at blend one more time. So also, we're writing values out here and reading them and resetting them, even if they're the same values. Scale min and scale max are not changed. Also, I don't really need to do that. Scale max I don't need, and active I don't think I need either. Like that. And blend I don't need, actually. I don't need any props. Okay. So yeah, if you look at Rock 2 and Rock 3, they're not. Yeah, we changed that. That's what's got to be happening. So let's take all of that, copy that. That's why it wrote those properties out, because we were exploring and working on those. I'm going to put them back in here. Back over in TaleSpire. I said it was a deep rabbit hole, I thought, but I don't think it's that bad. I think we just fixed it. In TaleSpire, I'm going to hit Reload Spell Effects. Go back into the effect editor, do the known effect, grab it. What is it? Ice wall, 10 by 10. Hit OK, but I kind of need to get things out of the way. Probably not going to. There it is. And they're all growing at the same speed.
That's much better.
Yeah, much better. It looks great. Doesn't it look good?
It does. Yeah.
And imagine with those pieces along the base, it'll look so gorgeous. All right.
Absolutely.
Good. So that's feeling good. So that's Ice Wall. The name of that is Ice Wall 10 by 10. So that's the name of the effect we need. So back over here with me, I should now have in my code section Wall of Ice. There it is right there.
There you go.
Wall of Fire, I don't have, but Little Cutie's got Wall of Fire. We can look at Wall of Fire. Where are you? I thought you had a Little Cutie. And these are not alphabetical, I know. She has Wall of Water is what she has. Well, there. We can do something like this. So Wall of Water is there. We're going to do the same thing for Wall of Ice over here on cast. We need, it's called Ice Wall 10 by 10, I think. And not going to give it any move yet on this. So at wall. Actually, with this one, I want to comment this out for now because we need to make it so that it can actually put it in there. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to do, I think it was called MD underscore ice underscore obstacle. Obstacle. That's what I think it is. Let's double check that over.
Yeah, that does sound familiar.
Let's destroy everything. Add prefab MD underscore ice obstacle underscore obstacle. Yeah, that looks like it's right there. Yeah. So that's the one I want to run down the line right there. So MD underscore ice underscore obstacle. At wall, seconds to delay, just seconds to enlarge this effect. Sure, why not? So you can shrink this effect when it stops. I'm not worrying about that right now. Degrees to rotate, length of the wall for wall. So how long is the wall?
You're not showing us the code, Mark. Sorry.
I hate it when I do that. Wall of ice, I think, is 90 feet long, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
Let's go look at the walls.
I think it might be 100 based on your stats from earlier.
There it is, 100 feet long. Okay, so we get 100 feet of ice. Yeah, it might be rusty from not streaming for a week. Fingers aren't hitting the keys where I want them to. So we just do that, and we cast Wall of Ice. Let's see if we can do this now. Where's my Wall of Ice spell?
I'm not seeing it.
I'm not seeing it either. Sometimes
some kind of refresh.
It won't show up if sometimes it won't show up if it's a higher level spell. But I didn't know that was the case. Then I can cast.
Right.
Let's see if that's what it is. What's the low spell level? 6th level. That might be my problem, is I don't have any 6th level spells. So to give it to me, I need to change my level, player level. Is that true? I'm not sure if this is it or not. Where is my player level? Here it is, level 9. I'm level 9. Level 9 wizard. Do I have 6th level spells? I need the wizard table. I actually have the wizard table in one of my D&D spreadsheets. Do I have a button for it? Tables. There you are. Tables. What's my wizard? Say at 9th level, I get no slot 6 spells. At 11th level, I do. So,
that's somewhat good. That means the system is working and providing you with precisely what you should have, given the nature of your stats. That's good.
It's working. If I change this to 11, reload, and it works. The system is working. That's our test. So let's do that. Reload everything. See how that works. Level 9 should have 3 6th level spells, if I recall correctly. I guess I don't recall. Sad panda.
Sad panda!
Alright, let's go to Merkin now. Now do we see Wall of Ice? Now we see Wall of Ice.
There we go.
So we can now run that. So if I cast it, so I'm going to hit this button to start the cast. But before I cast it, I'm going to go over TaleSpire and I'm going to bring up the line ruler. And I'm going to I'm going to try to just do my best at, like, you know, close to 10 feet, 10 feet, 20 feet. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm going to make it so when you click it, I'm going to try and go after it, Rory.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and go after it.
All right.
I'm going to do that. I'm just going to, for now, I'm just going to do this. I'm just kind of, you know, okay, there we go. So 100 feet is about right over there. It's 109 feet. So right about there is where we should see it end. Okay?
Yeah.
I right-clicked and the whole thing disappeared. I'll do it again real quickly here.
See, I remember doing that last week, and it's very annoying when you do by accident.
Don't right-click. All right, I'm just going to do this. Well, there I think I did a right-click. All right, this whole thing should be... Can I now take that and grab it? All right, cool, cool. All right. Now, one right-click. There. So one right-click is good. I guess the second one, I must have double right-clicked. So we're going to expect it to end somewhere around over here.
Yeah.
So now if I hit roll dice, is that all I need? Go. I'm at a breakpoint.
Okay.
Validate range volume. We had a breakpoint before here. We were testing something else. Everything's good. So we don't need the breakpoint for now. I'm going to disable all these breakpoints. Run. Wall of Ice. Oh! Okay.
Ooh.
So that actually looks pretty good.
That is not bad.
Cold damage.
It all went away, though. I think I know why.
How far did it go? Did it reach the end?
Yeah.
A little further than maybe it needed to.
No, I think I know why it went away. It's because... let me close this down so I'm going to bring it back up again. Bring up FX Editor, MD Ice Obstacle. It's got a built-in time for dying, I think.
Okay.
And when we're in this Explorer, we check to see if they've got built-in times, and we disable it. So the Explorer doesn't destroy it. Well, I thought we did, but no, look at that. We clearly didn't. And then once it's destroyed, it won't come back in anymore. All right. So I need to come in one more time. Effects editor, MD ice obstacle. And I need to get it before it dies, I think. Ice obstacle, if I can. What if I just turn it off right there before it was allowed to die? Would that solve it, or was it still going to try to kill it? I needed to get that to 0 is what I need to do. Let me see what happens. And I think that's it. Okay, so now I'm going to save this as ice wall base. Okay?
Yep.
Save effect. All right, good. Then switching back over here, going to the code for this, I'm going to change this to ice wall base. And now it should stay up if we get all that right. I'm going to add a test button too to the Stream Deck here. I'm going to just copy this, paste this over here. We're going to say ice wall or wall of ice. Like that. Do I by chance already have an icon for it? Wouldn't that be cool if I did? Wall of ice. Looks like I do. All right, cool.
Yep.
So there's my wall of ice icon right there. So back over to TaleSpire. Give me a second. Hit the right button. There's TaleSpire right there. Now back to me casting it. Wall of ice, and so we're now looking for it to go about 100 feet along that line and stay when I roll the dice. So let's try it. Rolling the dice. What's happening? I hit the roll dice button. Oh, because I'm already concentrating on it. Break concentration on it. My bad. One more time. Wall of ice. Go. Okay, good. Goes to 100 feet.
Looks good.
Not bad. There's maybe a little bit too many of the rocks. Oh, also look at this. See the shivering that's happening?
Oh yeah.
That's because...
Isn't that a plane of graphics in exactly the same plane
Yes.
as another one? So it doesn't know the distance. There's no physical distance between them, and it doesn't know which one to render. So it alternates back and forth.
Yeah. I think we may need to just bump those the smallest amount.
Yeah.
That's what when we're dropping those in. Let's look at that problem actually first, if we could.
Kind of a randomized height plus or minus up to X pixels or X positions.
Exactly. That's all I want to do is just when we're building a wall, it's specifically for building the wall that we want to do this. Yeah. Okay, hold on a second. Going back over on my second machine here, switch back over to that. Oh.
Surly Dad is in the house.
Hey, Surly.
Can we have some pumpkins? You have pumpkins. I'm going to make a wall of pumpkin spell just for Surly.
Wall of pumpkins.
What's Spanish for pumpkin? I don't know. We'll have to figure that out.
La pumpkin?
Pumpkinola. No.
No, way to butcher a language, I think. Perhaps back out of that one.
Backing away. What are we doing? I want to go bring up the TaleSpire Explorer where we build that wall, and I want to fix that bug. That's what I want to do. That's going to be... Did I add a TaleSpire.walls? I don't think I did. I think it's in spells, I think. Yeah, here we go. Build wall segment. Right there.
Okay.
So... just trying to refresh my memory of the code. Where do we actually get particle systems?
Is it 509, play effect at position?
Yeah, that looks good. Position.
Right, so we modify, I forget whether it's Z or Y that's actually height in this system.
It seems to, kind of vary is what it does. What's cool, by the way, a wall of ice, you can see I'm concentrating on it. I still got time on it before it goes away. In fact, if I do this, it'll tell me how much time. 7 minutes remaining. Cool. All right. What we can do, though, is we can switch over into TaleSpire, find these guys, and just move them and see whether it is Z or if it's Y. So let's go see if we can do that.
I'm gonna lay odds on Y.
That's what I feel. I feel it's Y as well.
I remember thinking to myself, as if TaleSpire presented as if you were looking sideways for the X and Y coordinates. So normally I think of a graph as being X and Y, and a Z is kind of a depth component. I think that's the way it sort of treats it from here.
Okay, so this is kind of bizarre. I just found this spell. I'm pretty sure this is the one we're looking for. I'm pretty sure this is one of these, but it's local position. We're like none of those were close to the Y and the Z. I got something at -800 and another one of a -12.
-12 could be correct, because if you think about those rocks, some of them are sort of embedded in the ground. So is it literally pulling it subterranean?
Yeah, but when I turn it on and off, nothing's changing over here. So don't think it's actually that spell.
Maybe not.
Did I cast any other spells? I don't think I did. So what is it? Explore existing. I've got two different kinds of spells, though. Oh, maybe I got something from before that hasn't cleaned itself up. Maybe we've got a cleanup problem. Let's see what happens if I do this. There we go. Found it. Can you see it over there on the left?
Yep.
Okay, so now we'll go to local position. There we go. Better. So see the 0.8? And what's the Z? The Z is -12. So the 0.8 is the Y. I think you're going to win on the Y. So if I move the Y, there you go.
There we go.
Right there. So we got to adjust the Y just a little bit. Okay. Fine. So we wrote this code like a week ago. And I'm just getting familiarizing myself with this.
Yeah.
We're in this space here. I think I need to create a new vector here that's going to be called my my Y offset to solve this. Whatever.
Yeah.
It's going to be a new vector 3. It's going to be 0. Something is going to change there for Y. And I want to say, where's random? I forget where random is. That's
random range. Is that?
That's in spells. Sweet. Something I wrote.
Between -X and +X, I guess. So.
Yeah, so I'll say 0.01. I'll make it between a negative that and a positive of that. Make those both floats. Somewhere in that space. And then we're just going to simply do +Y offset there.
That feels like a good adjustment.
All right, so
what could possibly go wrong?
So just to remind ourselves, let's look at the problem. The problem is the flicker as we get in close.
It's a little shimmer, yeah.
See that? We're hoping to change all of that. Also, by the way, notice these are up above the ground just a little bit.
That's true.
I think there may be some code I've got somewhere that's doing that. I don't see it in any of the piece I'm looking at, but that's kind of interesting, right? That's not quite lined up with the ground.
Because it's more obvious because it's casting a shadow as well.
Yes, that can be fixed by editing the decal, telling the decal it can't cast a shadow. We might
Okay.
go with that. It doesn't look too bad. I'm kind of okay with it for now. But
The
also,
closer to the ground it gets, the less it'll be an issue anyway.
yeah. Also, though, notice the decal's always in the same position. We kind of want to do a rotation of that. I think a random rotation. That might be also something we'll do too. All right. First, let's just rebuild this though. I'm going to shut down on TaleSpire. Shut it down. Back on the main machine. We'll do a rebuild of this. Yeah. So I need some sort of way to indicate that we can have a random rotation. Rebuild all succeeded. Start TaleSpire back up on the TaleSpire machine. And we should start just talking about adding that additional parameter to play effect, where we can put a space between we can specify the amount of space between the pieces that will build the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Rotation, degrees to rotate the effect. What if we could also accept the word random in there? Does that make sense? So we could, and then it would just come up with its own number. We could actually do that. What
about if you? Well, I'm not worried. I'm thinking, okay, so if you can accept the string and we can parse the string and do clever things with it.
Yeah.
What about if you were to give a float and then some symbol that means plus or minus, and then a second float, and it would be within that range then. So because otherwise, if you say random, unless you're going to give parameters to that, I suppose that's the other possibility. Then it's how random is it going to be? Is it like wildly random or just fractionally subtly? Because I think there's some nuance to that.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Let's think about it. We'll give it some thought. I've restarted over in TaleSpire. That's what it looks like right now. Let's get the drawing tool out. M2. So do it it's my best to get something close to 10-foot segments, and I'm failing. 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Oh, interesting. Oh, and then I right click and it goes away. It's funny.
It's a hair trigger effect, isn't it, to get rid of it?
The right click, it's if I've got whatever 10 of them, so it only can do a 10. Okay, this is a little insane, is what it is. All right, close. It's only accepting a certain number of segments.
Incoming raid, C# Fritz, party of 111. Come on in, everybody.
Hey, C# Fritz, thanks for that raid. What am I doing? How you doing, C# Fritz? Here comes his hat, coming in. I think it could fit my head. Oh no, I can't wear C# Fritz's hat. It's too big! And it does that a lot too, which is not cool. Like not at parties and stuff like that. Or it may just be that me, not cool. Welcome. Yeah, speaking of fanfares, by the way, my good friend Rory's with us here.
Was me thinking I'd snuck in under the radar.
Nope, you're here. So there's a severe limitation of TaleSpire. We're in TaleSpire, kids. We're modding TaleSpire, adding spell effects into TaleSpire using C#. We're just chilling out and having fun. That's kind of what we do on this stream. Rory's my co-host there. You just saw his fan.
Hello.
Welcome everybody.
We're building a wall of ice at the moment, and this is our, well, I say it's our tool. It's not really our tool. This is one that's in TaleSpire. Oh my goodness! Say,
we don't like bugs on this show. Sometimes bugs, they're out there. Luckily, TaleSpire is going to get them for us.
Here, I am.
And Yoda appears and disappears just in time so I don't get sued. Every time the lawyer's out there trying to get a screenshot, it's like, I'm out. This is a game, right? Yeah, TaleSpire is a game. It's a tabletop gaming system. Let's switch back over to that. We just found kind of a noticeable defect in their ruler system. I'm going to have to report this to them. But they only allow for 10 handles when you're measuring things out. And if I want to create a wall of ice can go up to 100 feet. And so I'm only able to create a 90-foot wall here. We're testing a wall of ice right now. I'll show you what it looks like so far. It's kind of okay, but we're trying to get there. We want it to be really good. That's what we're trying to do on the show. So here we go, casting the spell. Is it going to work? Okay. So it's kind of like that. Now, we just went in to fix a bug, just as you kids all arrived. And the bug looks like it's fixed. The bug was, we were seeing a shimmering along the floor. That was because all of the coordinates, these overlapping decals had the exact coordinate. We just added a little bit of randomness in there to fix that. So we're kind of good, but we need to kind of do more math. We need to do more stuff in here. This is the base of the wall. The wall's got to be 10 feet high. I've got a second asset I want to bring in here, and we've got to figure out how to put it in all of those spots. That's what we need to do. Josh Smart. Josh Smart the head. Josh Smart. Josh says, looks really good. Thanks, Josh, for that. Your partner on stream is a real person. Kind of.
I'm a real person. The one in front of you with the bow and arrow is arguably a little less real.
Talking about Fred?
Maybe.
All those people. Thermosapog. Yeah.
I mean, the evidence would suggest that Fred's a more real person than I am, since I'm not physically there. So, you know, I'm an AI.
It says, let's do this. Roy's not real, says Pudding. All right. By the way, kids, Pudding probably would want to make sure all of you have seen his fanfare. Oh.
We should point out that all the fanfares were actually made by Mark in varying pieces of software. So this is all the assets dragged in. Everything you see on screen, I guess, to a greater or lesser degree, not TaleSpire itself, but the things that we've inserted into it have been pulled in from all manner of places, composited together, and create a really good effect overall.
That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
Our wall of fire looks really good, by the way. Our wall of fire is gorgeous, and I want to get this to be gorgeous is where I want to get this. I want to get close. There's also a couple other issues here. Notice the decal is facing the same way every time. It's maybe hard to see with these lines. Here you go.
Less obvious this time, but that edge, yeah.
Yeah, you can see the repeated patterns of the decal. I want to random that up. And then the next piece I want to do is I want to create ice chunks here, you know, all along in here is what I want to do. Mm-hmm. What if, now this is going to be, I know this isn't going to look good, but let's try it. Excuse me. What if, let's close that down. What if in our code, we just threw out the ice wall 10 by 10? And what it's going to do is it's going to put it every few feet. Because right now we don't have the parameter we need to add. We throw this out, it's going to look egregious is what it's going to look. And they're all going to be rotated the wrong way. But
yeah,
why not try it? Is what
it'll give us an idea of what it's going to look like. We'll know what we'll need to change, you know, rotation and number regularity, that kind of thing.
Right. So we'll just do it real quickly. We'll make a mess on screen, and then we'll go to fix it. So back over into TaleSpire. Let's go break my concentration on the spell to get rid of it. That should go away. Uh-oh.
Ah.
Oh, I know why. It's my bad. Because I didn't finish up the code. I didn't do it all the way. Over here in our code for a wall of ice, we have on cast, but we have nothing in dispel. And
yes.
we need to clean it up is what we need to do. So that was my bad. If we look at Cutie, she's got wall of water right there. And on her dispel, she just calls clear spell. Gives it a time. That's all we need to do. So I'm going to grab that, come back over here, go into on dispel, and clear it like that. So we'll test that clearing right now. We'll come back over here. So this is never going away. Right here, that's not going away at all. That also, remember that clue we saw earlier before the raid, Rory, where we were looking at the code and we were like, wait a second, why is this spell still around? It shouldn't be here anymore, right? Remember we found that. All right, so let's do it one more time. We're going to come in, get the. I'm hitting M2. Is it because it's already there? Let me try one more time. M2. There we go. All right. I don't know what's happening on this show, kids. I think some people have got way too much control. So there's wall of. So I fixed wall of ice. I'm creating the wall here. We're going to use fewer pieces. That's 173 feet right there.
Yeah.
Wall of ice ends at 100 feet. So we're going to see it end somewhere in this space. It's going to look messy. I'm warning you, right, kids? It's not going to look good. Here comes the spell cast right now. I love trash. Huh? Oscar. Ah!
Poor Oscar.
I don't quite understand.
That's dragged us back away from TaleSpire. We can't see that on the stream just at the moment.
I'll get you over to TaleSpire. Right there. I don't understand this. These walls are all correct, but why did it stop them? Why didn't it put more here?
That is a good question.
Like, that's like really interesting to me. But this is really good. Like, I'm like, okay, cool. These look great. We turn these sideways, they're going to look great.
That's right. Yeah, roughly 90-degree turn, perhaps a third as many, maybe a little less. Who knows? And that would look like a pretty good wall as far as it goes.
Yeah, I feel like we got a bug in our wall code for some reason. The fact that these stopped right here is
how many do we got there? We got 3, 6, 9, 12, 15-ish, maybe a little less.
I'm just checking to see if there are any errors in TaleSpire log. I'm not seeing anything. No errors. I don't get that. Yeah, but we basically go out this far. All right, so we'll work on this. We'll fix this. First thing to do is I want to go jump over into C# and change some of the code. So we can take an additional parameter in here. Let's see. Let me bring that up so you can see it. Oops. Not quite where I wanted to be. There. That's where I wanted to show you. So I want to add one more parameter here. So the length. Oh, this is why it stopped.
There's a third as many of them being asked for.
Yeah. So that's the problem. I want to add an additional parameter here, which is the distance between the wall pieces. And I'm going to set that to 10 for this guy. And I won't have any parameter there. That's what I want to do. Add one more parameter.
What's the current default distance we're using at the moment?
2 feet.
Okay.
2 feet, as I recall. We can go look at that in the code. Somewhere in here, I want to say that code exists. But I don't see it like a 2 feet thing in here. Distance. Wait, is it a parameter? Gap so far. Available wall length. Oh, come on. What is it? Build wall segment. Is it here? Thanks for the follow, Change 159. Thanks for the follow. A lot of people followed. Thanks so much. If you followed, appreciate that. Let's see if we can figure this out. It's Distance to tiles. It's gap so far. I think it's going to be related to gap so far.
Yeah. Well, distance to next effect tile.
Distance between wall effects in feet. There it is.
There you go.
It's 2.5. So I want to change this, is what I want to do. I want to change
So this would be a parameterized value rather than a
Right.
hard-coded one.
Yes. So I'm going to take this here, build wall segment. We're going to, I'll add it up over here as a new variable type float. Give it that same name. And put it in here as the call. And then Flame Creations saved us from that party. Good job, Flame Creations. All right. So, how you doing, Flame Creations? Welcome. So I'm going to do this right here. So I've added a new parameter called distance between wall effects in feet.
Yep.
I've defaulted to 2.5. That's what I've done. So it kind of doesn't need to be here. But now I think what I really need to do is kind of have it in here as well. Whoops. All right, so I want this as a just a float right here. And then I want to say if somebody's passed that in as an additional parameter, whoops, 8, then we're going to get it and put it in there. I'm going to do that, like that. Let's save the parties for when we actually do something awesome. Can we do that? So there's my.
I've been sat here wondering, with so many visitors and so many fanfares, I'm surprised the one that involves a wall of ice hasn't shown up yet.
Oh, you're right. We do have one that involves. You guys know Frackberg.
Yeah.
Get them in here. Okay, so build wall can now take an additional argument, which is going to be the distance between the wall effects in feet, which we're initializing to our default value of 2.5. If it's not specified, we'll be chill, but if it is, we're going to bring it in.
Yeah.
Okay. We call build wall with it. We passing it in? Looks like we're not passing it in. Let's pass it in. Distance between wall effects and feet. Okay, cool. So now build wall is taking that in. So this is the low level plugin. That should all, I think, work.
Yep.
It's going to be really interesting to see what happens with the 10 foot by 10 foot by 1 foot walls segments. If they, where do they get lined up?
Yeah.
Because maybe we got a problem somewhere. I feel like we're going to have a problem. All right, so
I'm wondering about the rotation as well. I think the rotation is going to be good, but it's going to need to be relative to the direction of the vector rather than relative to its in-game existence.
Yes.
So it's got to have to change. So let's say it's 90 degrees, we need to turn all of those. But if we do that, they'll be wrongly oriented for the second segment.
Yes, I'm with you.
So, yeah.
Plague Grayson says, I don't see or hear Rory partying.
Yeah.
Well, Roy's got his own fanfare, but, that only shows up, when the time is right. That's all I'm saying. Roy, do you notice all the people in the background shouting, "Hey, hey," in that song? They're like, "Go Rory!" They're totally fans of Rory.
They're having fun.
All
yeah.
Right, I'm gonna close this down. I think is what I'm gonna do. We're gonna rebuild.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna rebuild yet. Maybe I won't close down just yet. We have to rebuild. Let's just. You can remind me of that, Rory. You can say, you know what, Mark? We need to rebuild.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna rebuild this yet, but we need to rebuild it. I'm gonna also go over the D&D app, which is currently running. I'm gonna close it down. So we're going to close this down because I need to add an additional parameter to the play effect function so it can handle that additional piece right there, that 10. So we come in here, we're going to duplicate this. Let's type float. We're going to say it's going to be wall segment length, maybe. Segment length, like that is what we'll call it. And it'll be the length of the wall segment.
Now we need to have a possibility that, I guess this is going to be an optional parameter. We've said yes, so we're going to have as a default, I guess, on this, which will indicate to us that we don't need to have a fixed length.
Yeah, and I'm going to use the same default that we used before, 2.5, like that. And then we're going to come down here, do the same kind of technique. Select that, duplicate it, go to 8. And there it's written the code for us. Just put that in braces. And now we've got segment length. Next we go to on play node
Why
effect.
is the segment length 2.5 by default?
That was
That was the previous gap between pieces
of the wall of fire. In
Yeah,
wall
but
of fire,
what I'm
it's
saying is-
about 2.5 feet across.
I thought that the 2.5 feet was the gap between sort of flames.
Yes, it
Right,
was.
individual pieces. So it's not the length of a segment, because a segment's a piece between two handles, isn't it?
Are you suggesting the name is wrong? That it should be
Either the
something-
name or the function. I'm not sure. It depends what your intention is. I thought the segment was the piece between two handles. It's the thing which, in this particular case, is going to have to be fixed at 10 feet.
I see. That's
But
not what I
maybe
mean,
that's
no.
not what you meant by it.
No, I mean this is the wall piece length is what it is. The wall length, the wall section. Yeah, it's maybe segment's not the right word. Wall effect length.
Maybe.
I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it.
Wall
as segment
effect gap, perhaps.
length. What do we call it?
We have a wall effect gap already. That's what you've just been altering, isn't it? Distance between wall effects.
Distance
in
between
feet.
wall effects in feet. Maybe I should just call it that. Okay, how's that? Happier with that?
Okay.
It's
Yep.
longer, but it's clearer, I think. Let's go back up here. The length of the it's the length, the distance between wall effects.
Yeah.
I don't know if I really need to say for walls. It's kind of obvious, you know, for that point. Okay, so distance between wall effects and feet is now there. And now I want to add that as a parameter to play on play known effect. So I'm going to come over here, we'll just add parameter, paste that in, put it there. That's coming in here. Now we need on new spell effect event args, we need to add that as well as a new parameter. I don't want to add it there. These are all, I guess, optional. We're going to put it right there. We'll jump in manually and do it. Selecting that, duplicating it, distance, and we're going to change that to 2.5, like that. And that's the line of code I kind of want there. Did I lose my B right there? Wow. Okay. We're dog fooding Code Rush kids, and every once in a while I may catch like an edge case issue, like I think I just did. All right. I'm not sure if we have steps to reproduce this or not. I think I had this on the clipboard. No. That's not the steps. So I have this on the clipboard. And I'm starting here. And let me get rid of this. And let me close this and reopen it. Spell effect event args. Okay, now let's open it up. All right, these are the steps to reproduce. Remember what's on the clipboard. I duplicate this, I paste that in. Notice the B right there is uppercase, right? Good. Then I come down here and I duplicate this. Notice the B is lowercase.
Oh.
Right there. That's the bug. That should be an uppercase B right there. What's going on with that, kids? All right, I think I just found a good bug. I just pasted in over it. That's why it changed right there. So now so let's report this. This is going to be duplicate selection lower cases incorrectly. Okay, that's an awesome bug. When we report bugs, it sends our developers an email with a link to this section in the show, so they can just watch that, and
also adds in log files for various description times. Various types. It just packages it up really nicely, makes it easier to understand the nature of the bug that we found.
Yeah. All right, so now I've come in here, created in the event args, a new value to hold that distance between wall effects and feet. I'm going to now tab to next reference on wall length, see where we're using it. We're using it in play effect. Looks like play effect needs a new parameter, so we'll pass in EA dot distance between wall effects and feet. And now we're getting really close, right? All of this. What's interesting and what you're looking at is a highly decoupled architecture. So we've for folks who are new to this, we're going from low level stuff. We're going from an expressions evaluation engine, right? And we're getting data from that. That's the expression evaluator that allows me to just kind of type in code in the app and then have it run. And then getting that and then bringing it out and then passing it up above to an app that's got UI in it. And then now that we are there, we can now go speak to the TaleSpire client and pass the data down. So now that I've got this distance between wall effects and feet here, I can now pass it in to TaleSpire client build wall. Well, throw it at the end again like that. And then we're going to go into build wall and throw it in the end. I'll duplicate this, paste that in. And then we're going to just simply do that. Paste that in there as well. And I feel like I kind of want to make everything so we can see it. Oh, Rory, this was the issue you got me on last time. Remember? I've got
I'm not sure if I do.
Wall length is the third parameter. And now this related parameter is at the end.
Oh, yes.
Remember how you got me and you made me fix it? You son of a...
Maybe.
Right. Okay, so let's get this in the right spot. I already had a shower today.
Copper Beardy is in the
Need a wall of sunflowers now.
Yeah, you've got Wall of Thorns is one of the ones that's out there. All right, so now what I'm doing is
That'll
this.
do.
So 0, 1, 2, the parameter index 3 is going to be the distance between wall effects and feet.
I do remember this now, yes, because we now have to go back to the other piece as well.
You were like, Mark, I really like organized code. And I was like, oh, but it's so much work. And you were like, do it. And I was like, all right, fine. So that's kind of where we got to it. Okay, so now we got to say parameter at index 3 is the distance between wall effects and feet.
Yes.
A little more work to do, but the code will at least be okay. We need to go to modding utils here. And it's now, this one is going to be...
So we're going to shift the 8th one into what is effectively, is it the second position? 0, 1, 2?
Yeah, this one is going to, I think, be here. Like that.
And then we shuffle everything else up.
And then everything else kind of gets shuffled. I think we need, that is going to be a 4. And then this all gets inside here. Oops. Like that. And then this becomes 5 and 5 and 6. Hey, beautiful.
Hi. Can I... Ooh, wow. What's that?
What are you looking at? All those?
Yeah.
That's Surly Dove's drone fleet.
Aerial
Really?
display
I
team.
didn't
This
know
is
that.
aerial display team. That's exactly what's going on.
Okay, that's insane.
Yeah, he's coding inside a coding show. He's written code to control all of these in the show.
He's so surly.
Yeah, he's so surly. Pudding says, I know that voice.
Okay, I need something from you.
Yes.
It's-
Yeah. You can show more than just your little hair pieces right there. Okay, there you go. What do you need?
I need your Amazon Prime password.
It's more efficient than your wallet, right?
Can we do that later, hon? Can we do that later?
Really?
Yeah, it's like a lookup. It's like kind of a...
Oh, it's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
All right, you're
Yeah.
stopping me in my tracks.
I'm sorry about that.
Really?
Yeah.
It feels like you're not sorry.
It, I feel like I might be saving a lot of money in this moment too, just by saying, let's take a breather. Let's take a breather on that.
$2,000 you're saving right now.
All right, as soon as the show's over, okay? All right. I don't know if I did this right or not, Rory. I was going pretty quickly, and I almost felt like I was doing the. Well, hold on a second. Alchemist for 1206 says, take the sticky out from under your keyboard.
Hide the piece of paper.
It says password on it. I actually do have one under my keyboard right here, but it's a different thing. It's insane. Okay. Copper Beardy. I hear a peacock in the background. That's right. That was Sex Positive right there. Sex Positive has her own fanfare. We haven't seen it in a while because she just walks in now. But
Yeah.
Hers, let's see if I can find it real quickly here. There it is. Here's one of hers. All right, that was Sex Positive.
Sex Positive is in the house.
It's in the house. But she's not getting my Amazon password right now. We'll have to give that to her later. What about the Battle Unicorn? All right, Battle Unicorn. That one's good too. Let's see if I can get. That is like. I think I have a. Do I have a button for that? I'm not sure. I've got to look at that. I've got to remember if I can just bring it straight on or not. See what happens. Yeah, it looks like it's working.
Sounds right.
That's Sprinkles, the Battle Unicorn. There it is right there. Okay, so let's kind of try to review this. I'm a
little concerned about this too, because didn't we say it was the third parameter?
Well, it was index
I'm sure
3.
we said that.
It was index 3.
Oh, okay. That's not too bad then.
That's what I said. I said it was going to be index 3. So here's 0, 1, 2, 3.
Okay,
So
in that
that's it.
case, I think we're doing all right.
Yeah. But I did...
We maybe have some positional help to be written and moved at the top as well.
Tell me about that.
Just off screen at the... Oh, maybe not. We originally added this as a parameter in position 8, and we wrote some help text with it and stuff like that. It needs to be shifted.
It was just these two pieces here I changed.
No, this is on the... I forget which part of our system does it, but it's the bit that gives you your IntelliSense when you're actually coding.
Oh, right. That's back over here in play effect function. That one is still at the end. So it's at the end here.
Okay, so we're changing its position as we move through the layers rather than everywhere. That's
right.
fine. That's cool.
That's kind of what's going on. All right, I think there's a shot this is going to work.
Yeah.
Let's give it a shot. Let's try. So I'm going to shutting down TaleSpire on the TaleSpire machine.
You were suggesting we needed to rebuild.
Here's my rebuild of TaleSpire. Explorer, it says rebuild all succeeded down there behind Fred. And now I'm going to go in and back over here to the D&D app. We're going to hit start. Now we got 9 parameters here for walls. We should see the distance between wall effects as our kind of IntelliSense hint or tooltip, our parameter tooltip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's sprinkles. We also have Got a couple others that are pretty fun from the other show, but I'm not seeing them right here in the list of stuff. All right, let's go cast some spells here. There's TaleSpire. Let's bring up. Yeah, you know, this thing we were talking about earlier, Wall of Ice requires them to be in 10-foot segments.
Yeah.
So what if I wanted, what would happen if I went to 20 feet out? I guess it would have to snap to 20. We need it to snap is what we really needed to do. There's about 100 feet right there. And I'll just draw a little bit extra on here just so that you can kind of see what's happening.
Just to prove it's ending at the right place.
Yeah, so we want the Wall of Ice to end there. So I'm going to cast Wall of Ice. And let's see what happens. Okay. Well, the bottom ones worked, but the top ones didn't work. Like at all.
No.
So we got ice wall bases. I'm not seeing the other piece. I'm not seeing the second piece.
Indeed.
At all. Why is that? Why would that be? What's the code say? Switching over to machine number 1. Wall of Ice on cast. Yeah, ice wall 10 by 10. Distance between wall effects. It's kind of what we're looking for.
Yeah.
Switching back to TaleSpire machine.
And the code itself hasn't damaged the ability to show the first layer, right? We've changed our parameters, certainly, and we've injected a default one for that. So numerically and sort of API-wise, it is still working. It's just the secondary layer almost is just not happy.
Yeah, let me search for ice wall in the log 10 by 10. There it is, loading it. And that's it. So it's like it doesn't reach it.
Are we naming it correctly? We're not doing some kind of strange casing issue, or because that's the internal asset you've got named there, the MD underscore piece. Yeah, but we've got a composite.
You're right. We have the known. Well, let's see if that's the correct. We should still see an error that it's not found, though. I think if I go into the editor and I say add the known effect, we should see ice wall 10 by 10 in there. Yeah, ice wall 10 by 10.
Yeah. Okay.
There. And that popped up right here. So that's okay. I'm wondering if there's maybe another problem where we can't build 2 walls with 2 wall effects, if there's some bug there. So what I'm going to try doing is commenting out this first line right here. So just commenting that out and just trying this one only, ice wall 10 by 10. No, wait, we didn't. We saw both walls before. That's not it. Remember we saw them? It went up to 30 feet.
That's true.
So what's wrong with this? All right. I think we're going to have to... I think we're going to need to... Let's start with some debug messages, I suppose.
Well, what about changing the order of them, right? That would help us understand whether it's the first one that works or a particular version of the call that works.
I'm on board with that. Let's do it. I'm going to dispel. Switch back over to TaleSpire. Looks like I got to draw the this thing again. So there's about 100 feet right to there. And do Wall of Ice. Cast it. No, it's not like.
So it is the
10.
lower graphic that's fine. It's the other call that doesn't work.
Yeah, I wonder if it's. I wonder if it is. If we change this to like say 4, if it would work, or 3, or 2.5, or something like that. Let's set it to 3, and just see what happens with it.
Sure.
Do a break concentration on that. And looks like the we've still got the ruler out there. Cool. So let's cast it again. Nope, doesn't like 3.
42.
I'm changing it to 2.5. Changing it to 2.5 right there, and let's see how that works. Let's break concentration again. Cast it one more time. Nothing.
What if you eliminate the parameter, but we keep the same asset name?
42. Cold damage.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay, so I've done that. Eliminated the parameter. And one more time. Wall of ice. Go. That did it.
Did it? That is very strange, because this should
Cold damage.
act as if... Well, is it? I was going to say it should act as if we had fed the 2.5 in manually, but obviously there's a difference. This is not acting as a default parameter anymore. It's fundamentally changing the algorithm somehow.
Yeah, let's kind of figure that out if we can, shall we? I kind of have an idea. What do you want to bet? It's in that place where that I typed so I put those pieces in so quickly. It was like
The nested argument checks.
yeah. Uh-oh. It's wild magic, kids. I rolled a 1 after casting the spell. It's gonna be okay. So my wild magic roll should be coming up in a second here. D100. There it is. Nope, that's not it. That was, oh, because I kept doing those in a row. That's probably why it's got all these up here. You gonna get that or no? There's the wild magic check. 92.
Invincible for 1 minute.
Nice. All right, I'm invincible for 1 minute.
Nice. That's a perfect time to get through a prismatic wall.
Yeah, no kidding, exactly. Okay, so I think we got a problem here with this last parameter. There it is, distance between all the feet. We're going to get there. That's now going in to on play known effect. Right up here. That now goes into new spell event args. That is hooked up to the right parameter. We're just going to trace this all the way in. And just kind of double check and make sure that's all looking good. Last parameter here, distance between wall effects and feet, goes in, is assigned to that guy. That looks right. This one is now here. That is correct. So we can see that this lines up with that parameter inside of play effect. Now we're in play effect. Distance between wall effect is used in only one place in build wall. That goes to the client, build wall. And that comes in as 0, 1, 2, 3, parameter number 3 to the build wall command. Right? You confirm with me, right, on that, Rory? You agree with that?
Yeah, the thing is, though, that this would be happening even without the parameter. We'd still get a value of 2.5 coming in here. There's no algorithmic change at all. It's just the value. And even the value isn't enough to cause the problem, because 2.5 by default should be the same as 2.5 explicit.
That's a really good point. Let's go back and look really closely here. Really good point, Rory. Just between wall effects and feet. There it is.
So something's changing because there is an 8th argument.
Yeah, why is that? Doesn't make any sense to me at all. Yeah, basically I've got, look, if args count is greater than 8, then we're going to go grab the 8th one as a float. We get it.
But if we don't do that, then distance between wall effects will already have a value.
Yeah, which is our 2.5. I wonder if it's because I don't have an F there. Like, just as a, you know, as
Wow.
as a theory, what if I came in and added an F there because it is a float? Whoops, where's my comma? There it is. 2.5 F.
Okay, so missing it out let everything work. Having it just be 2.5 before failed.
Yeah.
So now we split the difference. We have it explicit and we give the sort of qualifier of float.
It's a float.
Okay.
I don't like it.
If this works, I will be disappointed in something. I'm just not sure what.
Probably me. Probably me. All right, so back over in this world, we're going to break concentration on the spell.
So Coding Gorilla's hedging. He says that'll fail because it won't be parsable.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's going to fail. I'm with Coding Gorilla on this one, but we'll try. Wall of Ice, cast the spell. We don't see him, and I bet somewhere there's an error. I'm not sure where it is.
41 cold damage.
Hold on. I was just looking. Something caught my eye over here, and that was my debug output. And I was like, let's see. There's build wall, ice wall, base. But I don't see... Oh, there it is. Build wall, ice wall, 10 by 10. So... Okay. All right. No, not really any clues there.
Is this a thing we can trace into at all?
Yeah.
How far can
that's a good point. Let's do that. Let's set a breakpoint here. At least we can trace on this side. Let's break concentration. Let's change this back to like a let's do it a 4.5, or I don't know, we can do a 2.5. What do you want to you want to do something here?
Well, it's just very strange, isn't it? I mean, we're making somewhere along the line we're making an assumption which just isn't true. Okay, so we're assuming, for example, that the data's coming in this order. We can see it's in that order to start with. That it's getting assigned to the right arguments, which seems like a reasonable thing. If we were to trace a value, let's have something that isn't 2.5 be there, because if we use 2.5, we can't really tell the difference in code between what should be happening with the default and what isn't.
All right, so there's a 5 right there instead.
Yeah.
All right, so Wall of Ice, cast the spell. Good, got that cleared just before the breakpoint comes in. Okay, so let's step through this. Oh, args are 9. We're expecting between 0 and 9. That's why.
So it's literally killing us, kicking out. Interestingly, we don't detect that as a problem and tell ourselves about it.
Yeah, it's logged elsewhere, I think is where it's going. It's going places we're not looking. Okay, so now if we look over in TaleSpire, we've got something that looks a little bit better. Okay?
Excellent.
Rotation is the next piece.
Indeed.
So,
well, before you attack that, I'm afraid I'm going to have to rotate out of here.
sure, leave the hard work for me, man.
Hey, we just solved the bug. What are you on about?
Yeah, I get to
the rest will be
superstar
easy.
again. Yeah, Fred's going to help me out.
Indeed.
Fred's going to be here. All right, buddy. We'll see
right, my friend.
you next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday?
Next Tuesday.
Okay, man.
It is.
Have a good one. We'll see you then.
All right. See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye. That was helpful, wasn't it, Fred? Fred says yes. All right. Fred, yeah, you get to be the superstar again. All right, so that's should be 5 feet between each wall, and I didn't really look to confirm that yet. But I think it is. That feels right. These walls are each about 10 feet across, and if you cut them in half, that's about the distance.
Sad Panda!
That's what we got. We got that music right there, Pudding. That's what we got. All right, so, yeah, I think it looks good. I think the distance is correct. We can change that to, say, be 10 feet across now. Let's go make that quick change real quickly, and we'll cast it again. 10 feet across there. And let's break concentration on the spell. And let's cast it again. I think I'm going to do 10-foot segments this time when I lay down as best I can. So, here we go. So that's 10 feet there. 20 feet to there. This is a great one for testing rotations like this, where and the rotations are working all. We're going to have to figure that out. 40 feet, and then 50 feet. We'll go down 20. We'll make this segment be 20 long. So go out to 70. Make this one be 20 as well. Go out to 90. And then one more down to about 100. So that's 100 feet. And then we'll do one last one out over here. So we should see the wall build itself and only go to here. We're not doing rotations yet. That's the next piece we need to add. But let's try it. We're going to say cast wall of ice. We're looking for these to be about 10 feet apart, which means for each segment there should be one wall. So let's cast it.
Cold damage.
Okay. So that it's looking good. Let's start with that. Okay, it's definitely looking good. We need to do two things. We need to rotate it, and then we need to rotate the wall, and we need to, I think, offset it by half of its width. That's what I think we need to do. All right, let's see if we can figure out rotation. Okay. So build wall. Mooney says, I think the problem might be where the walls are spawning since those edges don't seem to be constrained. Yeah, I think that's, yeah. Unless you just always cast it by the same convention. No, I kind of get where we're talking about here. Let's go into, let me just visualize this. I'm going to go into PowerPoint a second here. If the wall is in the middle of an edge, not so hard. Yeah. So before, let's kind of do this, write this down. So we have these different points that would come along right here. And it's on a tangent at a vertex. Correct rotation might be undefined. Well, yeah, we'll see what happens with that. I'm not exactly sure where it, I think we'll be okay because we're always going to have 2 points. We're just going to have to figure out what the rotation is between those 2 points. So there's that and this. So this, what I'm drawing now, is going to represent the ruler points that we get when we lay this down. Okay, take all of these. Can I do this with these? think I can. Nope, that didn't work at all. All right, we'll group them. Send them to the back. All right, so, and then we're going to change color of these two so that they're a little easier to see. Okay, so that's what we draw and we put down. And then we have this shape that we want to put on top of it, right? At the right spot. Like this. And so the question becomes, right? If it's centered in the middle, I don't want to put it here for the first one. I'll put it right there. And the next one, I want to put right there. And the next one I want to put in the middle of each one of these pieces, right? Just like this. If these are each 10 segments in length, 10 feet long, then it's not too hard to do that. I'll do that, and then I'll do this one down here like that. So it's kind of what we're talking about. Now, if this piece is smaller, like this, I want to go like this and like this. And if it's anchored at the center, that means I need to drop these in here and here. Okay, you want to find the distance between the vertices, figure out how many walls you need for that edge, and space them appropriately, maybe even scale them for that edge. That's interesting, scaling for the edge. That actually is really, really interesting. Partially, scaling with these effects is not entirely easy because some of these are done with particle effects. And so if I'm scaling the particle effect, I kind of have to go into the particle system and see how it's defining the initial size for the particle and scale those pieces. But they're not entirely consistently done. They're done in different ways. There's a number of different ways to specify your initial particle size, including with a curve. So it would have to be pretty sophisticated to do it, but it's possible, but not doing that yet. Okay, so that's kind of what we're looking at in terms of figuring this out. I want to go back over to TaleSpire a second. And I want to look at the start of this. So this is the start wall. So this piece right here is the piece that bursts out. But this right here, these three walls together, this 1, 2, 3, that's the wall. And the point I'm trying to get here is that when we do this very first one, we're anchoring there. So we need to kind of move over by half the size of the length is what we need to do. And we have to put it there. That's what we kind of need to do. And we need to turn it. So let's see if we can figure that out. Okay, so we're in build wall. Then we get to build wall segment. Build wall segment gets two different positions passed into it. So we'll go into there. We've got those two segments right here. Somewhere in here, we're going to figure out the angle between these two. Do I have something that's... I was experimenting with this. Angle between two vectors. Am I using this yet anywhere? All right. This uses a vector 2. Let's see if we got any assistance out there on the internet. I'm going to find angle between vectors. Nice. I'm going to use that right there. P2 minus P1 will give you a vector in world space that's basically the edge. It's kind of the distance between the two. But it's not the angle, though. I think I need this, is what I need. The angle in degrees between two vectors. Once I get those angle in degrees, then I can rotate the piece around the y-axis based on that. Result is never greater than 180 degrees. Are these vectors, this may not be the same as what I want. I don't want necessarily these as vectors that are pointing out into space. I want them as two different points. Does that mean I want to actually do what Mooney is suggesting? Take P2 minus P1 and then determine the angle between that and vectors 3.0? Yeah, we've also got look at points. I like this, Mooney. I think that's a good suggestion. The look at points is something that I feel like we could maybe make work. If we jump back here and build wall segment, if we, this is the delta. And the delta is position 2 minus position 1. If we tried to say look at delta, that's a ton of helper over the goal, but yeah, there's lots of ways to skin a cat. Yeah, I'm kind of looking at that as an option right there. Where we use delta, we do look at. So here's the wall part we add. Let's just try it and see what happens. Wall part dot look at dot transform dot look at. Let's try throwing delta at it. Real Pygon says, I missed, what were we trying to do? What are we trying to do? We're trying to get the wall segment to rotate the right way so it fits inside. As we're putting the wall segments in, if I put it here, I want to rotate it this way, like that. That's one of the things that we're doing. There's the other piece we need to do is we need to turn that into this. I haven't done that yet, but I just want to try rotation first. So I'm going to do wall part transform look at delta. And then we might have to do like a rotate 90 degrees or something along those lines. Let's see what that does. So we'll shut down TaleSpire on the second machine. Do a rebuild up here. Rebuild succeeded. Start back TaleSpire up on the second machine. I want to change the code over here. I don't want to bring up the ice wall base anymore for a second. I just want to look at this ice wall here, 10 by 10. So I've got these 10 by 10 walls, and I'm going to say the distance between the wall effects are 10. It's going to be 10 feet each. Okay, TaleSpire is loading on the second machine. I just also realized on this machine, I want to say length of the wall in feet. The distance between wall effects in feet, like that. And just make those two changes for the next time I build. Mooney says, transform forward equals P2 minus P1. That's interesting. I haven't not seen it. Not sure if you need to normalize it yourself. I assume Unity does it. I think I don't need to normalize it. That would be my assumption as well. All right, let's draw out. Like I said, Unity usually has several methods for something like this. Hopefully not throwing you off by throwing out suggestions. Hey, right now I have no idea how to do this. So, you know, I'll take whatever I can get. All right. So the wall should end somewhere around here, about 100 feet in. Let's try it. Wall of ice, cast spell. Are we getting any rotation at all? It looks like we're not getting any rotation. I'm expecting to get something there. I would say that, well, this piece looks the most rotated. But there's a certain amount of randomness, and I'm wondering if that... All right, let's try something else. Let's mark this in a slightly different way. Let's break concentration on this.
Maximum damage.
And let's mark the let's mark it in some way that we can see if we can find some evidence of rotation. Okay, so that's the piece I want to target now. Wall of ice, cast spell. Oh, I didn't get, that's my 100 feet, I think.
Cold damage.
Yeah, these look all kind of aligned. They're not really changing. So, let's see if we can figure that out. Let's look back at the code. Maybe there's some clues. Maybe we can get this to work. You know, we're not doing anything other than just looking at the particle system there, changing the simulation speed a little bit. Let's try something else. You want to set one of the transform vectors equal to the delta, or you want to tell it to look at a particular point. Let's try something else. Oh, wait a second, actually. It's just occurring to me. I just wanted to throw something like this in to make sure that we're actually, you know, getting something that we can actually rotate it. It's occurring to me that maybe we are, by chance, rotating it. I was thinking maybe these pieces were rotated in a different way, but they all look like they're upright the normal way. So yeah, the look at doesn't seem like it's working for us. I'm going to try transform.rotate here and see what happens with that code there. Okay, let's try it. Shut it down, rebuild, solution, start it. The rotate method will work as well, but needs an angle calculated like you were thinking at first. It's because look at once a world point, you gave it a local direction vector. Oh. Oh. So I can say look at position 2 instead. All right, let's look at this. So we're expecting to see some much more random rotation. If we see that, maybe we'll change the code to look at position 2. Because that's the next piece we're going to. I must feel like that's going to work. We're up and ready to test soon, I think. Let's switch over to TaleSpire. Okay, bring up the line ruler. There's about 100 feet right there. And cast wall of ice. Shoot, I right clicked. Let's do it again. There's 100 feet right there. Cast spell. Oh, I'm still concentrating on it. Let's break it. Okay, rotation works. Random rotation works. All right.
46.
Next,
Damage.
let's see if this line of code is going to work. Look at position 2. See how that works. That would be sweet if that worked. Break concentration. Break that down. Shut down TaleSpire. Rebuild solution. Rebuild all succeeded. Starting TaleSpire up. One issue I predict is with height, but getting it working in 2D is step 1. I think the height's going to be okay. The height is already the right height, so I think we're okay. We're not scaling. Okay, starting up TaleSpire. Can you cast it on stairs? Oh, that's what I mean by height. Yeah, you can. Cross P1, P2. All right, so yeah, you can do it on stairs. Actually, the ruler allows you to go through 2-dimensional or 3-dimensional space. So I can kind of come up here, and then up here, and then up here, and up here, like that. So we'll see how that works. Wall of ice, cast spell. We appear to be off by 90 degrees.
44. Cold damage.
See what's happening? So the asset needs to be rotated 90. I think I have an option in here to say rotate equals 0, 90, 0. I'm going to try that on this, just by inserting that. And that might be able to rotate the asset 90 degrees for us, so we don't have to write any code to do that. All right, so we'll try one more time in here. Wall of ice, cast spell. That didn't work at all. Same thing.
41. Cold damage.
Let's just double check my rotate and make sure I've got that syntax right. Actually, let's look at. Oh, because then we're just doing look at again. Yeah, the look at is what's destroying is destroying this. That's not going to work because look at makes it rotate again. We need to change the original asset, I think, so that the original asset is rotated. I think that's what I'm going after. All right, let's do this. We're going to take everything inside here, and we're going to create an empty parent, and I'm going to call this thing the rotator. And I'm simply going to just change the rotation to 90 degrees around the y-axis like that. And I'm going to rebuild this. Export completed. Shut down TaleSpire. Let's go get those folders up. And we're going to copy this across to the TaleSpire machine. Start up TaleSpire. See if that's enough to fix it. And if it is, then the next thing we have to do is we have to go from here to here, so that we, are inside the line rather than outside. Drawing inside the lines. That's what we're trying for here. All right, let's try that wall up the stairs again, if we can do that. Okay, this goes 115 feet. The wall should end about there. Let's cast it. Is it casting? Oh, I'm still... There we go.
Do cold damage.
That's not bad. That is not bad. The initial explosions when it comes in are a little bit too much. It's not bad. We got a slight problem here, but that's also because the segments were in the right. We're not in the right. Well, I'm not going to speculate on exactly why we're having that problem yet, because it could be one of two things that are occurring to me. But look here. That's the start right there. Oh, they don't stand flat on each step. I see. I see. Got it. Got it. On how the gaps in the height are. I see. Hey, I'm okay with this for now. It's not bad. It's really not bad. But I do want to kind of fix this. I want this edge to be right there. So I want to fix that. I also want to bring in the other pieces as well. I want to, let's switch back over here a second. I want to undo this, but I do want to change the scale. I'm going to set scale equal to 0.5 of the ice wall base effect. And let's try that again, see how that looks over in, so I'm going to break concentration on it and we'll cast it again. Ooh.
7 cold damage.
So, yeah, that part's not working so well. These guys on the base, this would be fine, I think, on a floor. At least I think. Let's draw it on the floor and see how it looks. Okay, so we've got, that's what I'm looking for in that space. Wall of ice, cast spell.
Third eye on your forehead. Advantage on perception. 40 cold damage.
I see. So we're rotating, we're turning everything so it kind of looks at it. And I think what I want to do is isolate the Y so the Y doesn't turn. Is that right? What I want to do? Or isolate? Because these decals should be on the floor. I just want to turn them this way, is what I want to do. So, the problem is here, transform look at position 2. I want to lock in, do I want to lock in Z and X rotation and only rotate around the Y axis? There's probably a better way to do this, but I'm thinking about this, where we say, okay, we'll take the existing transforms Y, because we like that one. We want to keep that rotation, and we're going to go with the saved Euler angles here and here, which are probably going to be 0 is my guess. Sorry, X there, and Z here. So that's my new theory. Try that one right there. So we do the look at call, and then we just basically clamp down X and Z. Not sure if that's going to do it, but we'll see what happens with that. Closing TaleSpire. Rebuilding. I don't know, Mooney, what do you think about that? Rebuild all succeeded. Starting up TaleSpire. Looks like I'm still, there we go, let's spell it. Seems fine for how much attention I was paying. Good. Well, let's see what happens. I was thinking of making a copy of P2, set its height to the same as the wall segment. Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking about that too, but I was thinking, wait, aren't position 1 and 2 going to be at the same height in the case of this, which we tried? So I don't know. I was kind of stopped by second guessing that. I was interested in looking at that asset for the ground effect and what its local space orientation looked like. Yeah, I can show you that too. Let's try casting wall of ice and see what happens here with this new code chain. Okay, those initial flags are too big. This
cold damage.
looks like it worked. That's a pretty cool looking wall of ice. These pieces should be smaller. Oh, because these are growing, I need to make a change to this. There's a script that's changing these, making these side pieces so big. I want them smaller. But that is, from a look standpoint, it's not bad. I don't like this repeated pattern here. I want to fix that by rotating. Those are coming from the obstacles that shoot up from the ground. Also, there's an initial burst of very large particles. I want to drop those size of those particles. Mooney says, I'm going to run, but I always enjoy watching your stream. Good luck with the vector math. Thanks, Mooney. I appreciate it so much. Definitely getting closer to what I want this to look like. Yeah, that's good. Okay, let's see if we can get the offset right. You can see right there, there's the problem. There's the start of it, and we're shooting out the edge. Let's see if we figure out that. So it looks like the rotation is good. This I'm going to call, that works to rotate it right there. There's probably a better way to do it. I believe there probably is, but I'm just not an expert in knowing what I need to do to make that work. Okay. Now, at the very beginning, build wall segment, we pass in gap so far, and we set gap so far to 0. Is anything happening with gap so far? Checking to see if it's 0. Distance between wall effects, distance to mixed effect tiles. Yeah. So this logic was dependent on the fact that the initial gap so far was 0 coming in. I could find another way around this. And let's keep looking at it. Let's keep looking at this. What if I did this? I think that might do it. Let's give that a shot. Whoops. Let's close down TaleSpire. Let's rebuild over here. Start up TaleSpire. Yeah, so I think this might work. So if gap so far is 0, meaning we're on the very first wall segment we're putting in, we're just going to increment that distance to next effect in tiles as the distance between wall effects and feet converted to tiles and then divided by 2. So it's offset by half. I think that's got a real good shot of making this working. Let's try it now. So M2 is the shortcut I hit. Okay, let's put this guy right near. Can I click on him? Because I've got in ruler mode, I guess I can't move them. So anyway, all right, we'll just cast it straight out. We're looking for that edge of the effect to line up right with the left side right there. Better. Better. Yeah, that's perfect.
32 cold damage.
Nice. I love it. Where's the point? There's the point right there. Yeah. That looks good. Now we got just a little bit off the edge. So this is 106 feet right to there. When we really should have stopped over here because it's got a limit of 100 feet in length. Available wall length. I think I want to do this. Available wall length minus equals distance between wall length effects in feet divided by 2. That's what I want to do. And I think if I do that, it's going to fix this. So if I end at 106 feet, the wall won't go past it. It'll stop closer to 100 feet. That's what I'm expecting. Okay, so let's do that. Let's try shutting down TaleSpire. Do rebuild. Rebuild all succeeded. Starting up TaleSpire. Break concentration. Yeah, I've got some big blocks of ice, way too big coming out at the beginning. I need to control those so they're much smaller. All right, so we'll bring up the ruler again. So we'll make it, so it's about 100 feet right there. And I'll just do that, like that. So wall of ice, cast spell. Yeah.
26 cold damage.
Yeah, there's about 100 feet right there. Sweet. Good. And that's there. All right, let's fix this ice wall obstacle issue. Is there? I want to rotate it. And I kind of got to figure out how to rotate it because right now we're rotating the segments so they align. And we have this look at code right here that forces it to look in this direction. How are we going to specify that we can rotate it? I've got rotation here. I'm pretty sure rotation is 0. If rotation is equal to 0, then we can do this. Rotate effect to line up with the points between the walls. Like that. Otherwise, we'll just use the rotation. Now, build wall segment. Rotation. Rotation's passed in from build wall. I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to say, hey, if rotation is equal to -1, I'm going to make -1 be kind of a magic number for this. So if rotation is -1, then I'm going to go back and say, hey, segment rotation is equal to random range between 0 and 360. Like that. And then I'm going to pass in segment rotation in place of rotation. Right there. So if it's a -1, it'll just get a random rotation in that space. Let's double check that rotation and where it's used. I'm assuming that's over the y-axis. Rotation degrees goes into play effect at position. Rotation degrees is right there. It gets passed into get spell. Rotation degrees. Yeah, there it is. Rotate it around the up. Right there by that degrees. There's your code. Okay, so that looks good. I think that's going to work. Now all I need to do a rebuild of that. So we're going to shut down. And again, just to be clear, what am I trying to do? I'm trying to get rid of this repeated pattern that's happening here. Because of these base decals are all being placed in the exact same alignment along this segment of the wall. Same thing over here, like that, right there. And on this side too. So I want to get rid of that pattern so the pattern's not noticeable, not recognizable. All right, shutting down TaleSpire. Rebuilding. Starting TaleSpire. And over here in rotation, I'm going to say use -1 for random rotation. Now, this I only implemented in the build walls section of it. I only implemented it here. That check to see if rotation was a -1, not here, sorry, here. I only implemented it there. I haven't implemented it in, where is it? I should have put it here. Okay. It's in the wrong place. Let's go back, revert this back. So we're going to pass that -1 in here for rotation. Then we go into get spell. And we're going to essentially have that code right here. We call it actual rotation. Oops, sorry about that, kids. Let's get that up there so you can see it. We do that. So now the -1 can be used with anything, and it'll give me a random placement on that. And I think the -1 is an okay magic number to use in this case, because it's kind of striking a balance between, you know, keeping things from getting overly complicated, and a -1 or a 1 even for that matter in terms of rotation is imperceptible. So we would never actually use this as a value to line something up. So I think if we do that, that'll work a little bit better. With that, I think I want to restart to TaleSpire. Rebuild that. Start it up. Rebuild all succeeded. Starting up TaleSpire. So we'll take our rotation. We're going to change it to -1. The scaling on ice wall base isn't working on it. There's another thing I'm going to have to do to fix that, because like I say, it's controlled by a script. So all right. There's 100 feet right there. And let's cast a wall of ice. Already concentrating on it. Let's break concentration. Cast it now.
$39 cold damage.
That's not good. We got some decals rotated the wrong way. The decals look like they're not. Let's figure that out. Rotation. What has happened? Yeah, one of the possibilities is that our version of up is not the decals version of up when we do that rotation. The other piece that might be happening is we might be rotating in more than one place, but I don't think that's the case. All right. I can do this. And do this. And then say one more check. Hey, if I'm going to try that as a workaround. See if that helps me out a little bit. Okay.
Damage.
That's much better. All right, next, let's look at the scaling over here. The scaling is determined by script on these other pieces that are coming in here. We're bringing them in using ice wall base is what we're calling it. That ice wall base corresponds to a spreadsheet out here, and this is essentially the data from it. It's some JSON. And it looks like this. And I guess theoretically I could maybe come in and edit this, but no. Also, it just occurred to me, we need to modify properties on the script. Am I able to do that? It looks like maybe I am able to modify properties on the script. Okay, so I'm going to try and re-edit this is what I'm going to try to do. It's using the MD ice obstacle. So I'm going to grab the MD ice obstacle and we'll scale it, we'll create it, we'll make it so it's smaller and it fits, and see if that works. So switching back over here to TaleSpire, bring up our effects editor, add the prefab, grab MD ice obstacle, say OK. Go to lifetime, change its lifetime to 0, and then, so now it should last forever. There it is right there. Well, that doesn't look like it's too big. Do I have a scaling that's happening? I don't think so. It doesn't look like it. No scale. something's happening on scale that's not working right. When we started this, we noticed that our wall pieces were 6 times too big. And it didn't seem to make sense, so we just modified those assets. Now I'm worried I've got something in the code that's actually changing the scale of the wall pieces. Am I doing anything with scale in here? No. So scaling is not happening, at least apparently not happening. Sorry, I was looking up here. Yeah, no scale. What's going on? Yeah, this one's so small compared to the other ones. Oh, wait. It's here. This, I think, has a different piece that happens. Although its scale max and min are reasonable. Let's do that. Yeah, that part of the script isn't even impacting the rock. What's the rock's current scale? It's at 111. Did I get that right? Oh no, it's not. It's at 1.1.1.5, 1.52. Okay. I'm going to try saving that. And we're going to try overwriting our existing wall base. So I'm just going to copy that name to the clipboard right there. And we'll come back over here into TaleSpire, pop it in right there. And we'll say save effect. And let's close it down. Go back in. Let's say do known effect. And the ice wall base. Click OK. That size looks okay. All right, let's see if that works. Ice wall base. Reload spell effects. Let's break concentration on this spell. Let's cast it again. I think that looks better.
30 cold damage.
It's way better. Yeah.
Your skin turns blue.
Your skin turns blue. Okay. I'm just looking at these gaps between the corners because of the distance on these. I have an idea that I actually really like. These wall segments, wait, is that going to be a good idea or not? Maybe not. I was going to change their distance when building the wall to be by 9 feet. In other words, instead of being 10 feet, it's 9 feet. So there'd be more likelihood for overlap. But I'm not going to do that because the ice wall actually has the ability for you to, as I recall, to destroy one of these at a time. I'm going to change the distance between these guys right here. Let me break concentration on the spell. These guys, I'm going to make that distance shorter. I want to see what happens when I do that. So ice wall base can come in at 1 foot apart instead of 2.5 feet. Maybe 1.5 feet. Split the difference here between the two. So let's do that. Distance between the effects. And let's cast it again.
$37 cold damage.
It's not bad. I'm also considering, okay, what do I do? Maybe in the corners. Maybe in the corners I have secondary pieces that I install. Ubiquitous Engineer says it changes the look of the pattern at the bottom. It changed the look of the pattern at the bottom. Yeah, this felt more repeated. Yeah, the problem that's happening here is that we've got a corner angle here that's less than 10 feet. If we were to try this again, let's do this. Let's break concentration a second. The problem is we have something less than 10 feet from here to here. That's the problem. That's at 100 feet. Yeah, it's 7 feet. So we've got 3 feet kind of overhanging. So we then move out here to build the next one. That's why we have the gap. I guess what I'm wondering is what happens if we make something at exactly 10 feet like the spell calls for. So we see that's 10. That'll go to 20. I'm going to say close enough there. 30, 40, 50, 60, and then we'll just shoot that all the way out. Like that. Let's cast it again and see how it works with that. And I think here we won't have any problem with the corners. I think the corners will all look good. Whoops.
37
Need to drag that out.
cold damage.
Yeah. That works. So if we build the wall as the rules describe, in other words, in 10-foot segments, then we're essentially good to go. And it'll look good. It looks awesome. This changed because these got really close together. Let's change those back to make them farther apart. I'm thinking about moving it up to maybe 4, so they're really far apart, and see what happens. Should get more of a splatter effect along here. Let's try that. Let's break concentration. Cast it again. Oh, we lost the lost our. All right, so we'll make that 30 feet. We'll go 60 feet. Take this one to 90 feet. Make that be 100 feet. And then there it is. So now we'll cast it. Apologies, that's what I was drawing right there. And let's try casting and see what happens. Yeah, better. So it doesn't look so close together on the edge. It looks more splattery.
Cold damage.
Good. Good. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. That is not bad. Ubiquitous Engineer is asking, can you break that out into its own play effect? And I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that, Ubiquitous Engineer. Let me know a little bit more about what you're asking for there. But this looks good, right? If we talk about this, we're talking about laying out the wall. We're starting it here. Can't quite see there it is. The piece is right there. The circle's right there. The starting circle, right there. So that's where I start it, and there's the edge of the wall. You have 2 already. In the latter one, it's adding the small ice blocks. I see what you're suggesting. Right. So the question is, here, can we turn this into something, one thing? I could, but no, not without writing some code, I think. I've got to put some code somewhere. But in one way, it's kind of that. We're kind of doing that already, right? This is the wall of ice spell. This is what happens when it's cast. So we're kind of binding these 2 things into one new thing called wall of ice. So that's kind of, the answer is kind of, yeah, we're already doing it. Does that make sense? Okay. Yeah. So I think the look of this is pretty cool. The look is good. It's handling the 10-foot block segments well, if provided we draw it out that way, right? The ruler's got to be able to hold 10 feet at a time segment, so it's got to snap to those. I was wondering if you actually you break the ladder into 2 effects, you'd have 3 altogether. So you'd have 3 altogether. If you break the ladder into 2 effects. I think you're saying add more blocks is what I think you might be saying. Have 1 more line of code here maybe that changes those wall pieces along the wall base there. Is that right? Yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize, Ubiquitous Engineer. The groundbreaking effect. When the groundbreaking comes up, its scale is all wrong. It needs to be adjusted back. We had some scaling issues with the groundbreaking effect. Let's go look at that in the in Unity over here and see if we can find where that is. If we start here, what's going to happen? Here it looks good. That's what bugs me, is that we had this scaling thing that was off, and breaking that out on its own, it might be necessary to minimize the number of them. Let's look at it again. That's what I want it to look like right there, where these pieces are small compared to the ice wall coming up. That is not what happens when we create this wall effect for the first time. See all that? That's all a mess when that comes up. And it's this weird kind of scaling thing that's happening. So I guess theoretically the solution for it is to go into here and look at these different pieces. We came in, we already scaled this appropriately, these pieces appropriately. Next, we want to need to scale these. So we start. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to type in, I'm going to drop this down. So there's the ice smoke blast, the first one. There's the next one. I'll do the same thing.
Cast levitate on yourself.
Let's see how that looks. Yeah, those look about the right size. This one doesn't look good. This one's not working. There it is right there. Okay, cool. Yeah, those are better. So I think this is going to maybe fix this part of the size issue there with these blasts being too big. And I'm going to have to think about, why is the scale moving? The flak's too big as well. We need to do that, fix that. Start size. Same thing here. So there's our ice flak is now broken into smaller pieces. These lines all seem to be in the right spots. The smoke, I think, is all in the right spots as well. That looked all like it was working. It was just those other two pieces. It seemed like they were off. Let's try exporting that. Shut down TaleSpire. We'll reload it. See if that fixes our blast at the beginning. Export completed. Copy them over. Start it up. Yeah, the scale thing is a mystery to me. You got to look at modifying TaleSpire's ruler so that it can give you 10-foot segments. All right, so let's do it. Here we go. All right. There's 100 feet. Wall of ice. Cast a spell. Better. Nice.
38 cold damage.
Much better. It's a 100-foot wall of ice for you kids. All right. I think we're going to end the show on that. Not bad. Looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. Thanks, Cody Gorilla. Appreciate that. Let's do one more test up the stairs, actually. One more. See how that works. So come over here. Bring out the ruler. So we'll go like 10 feet to there. We'll go up the stairs to maybe 30 feet. It's about 30 feet. 50 feet. About 70 feet. Whoops, did I miss it? 70 feet. 90 feet. And right at about 100. So that's our wall right there. And let's try it now. Break concentration. Cool. And do it again. Wall of ice. Cast the spell. Up the stairs. Well,
damage.
it's not too bad, right? It's kind of like, you know, we have some problems with the decals expecting to be on a floor, but effectively, if you wanted to cast the spell up the stairs, you can do that. All right, so we'll think about that for moving on to the next, you know, for the next episode. Are we going to try to hack into TaleSpire's rulers to give it the ability to snap to 10-foot segments, or are we going to find another way to solve that problem? With that, I'll leave you with one more wall of ice up here we'll put down, and then we'll get out of here. And we'll end the show. Get you a good raid. All right, 20 feet. 40 feet, 60 feet, 80 feet, and 100 foot. So there's our 100-foot wall of ice that we're going to cast. Let's break concentration, and let's cast the spell right now. Boom.
Cold damage.
Nice. Yeah, it looks good. 10 feet high, 100 feet long. I like it. All right, cool. Kids, we're going to get a raid going. See who's out there right now. I'll send you to. We'll send you over to Obother again. And have a good day. Tomorrow, my son and I will be back with Kids Code, and we're going to return work at our building our bot, our trading bot, to trade stocks and currency, things like that. We'll be working on that tomorrow and also on Saturday. We'll see you then. Otherwise, we'll talk to you later. We'll see you on next Tuesday if you want to come back for more of this.